slow down public firefighters. Consumer advocates say these programs create a two-tier system that favors the wealthy.
When it comes to your home's chance of surviving a wildfire, it does not seem fair that a wealthy person's home could be saved as a higher priority than a lower income person. I'm hoping that the innovations that the private fire protection are using can be made available to everyone, and particularly to the firefighting community.
That's always the fear, that you'll get out there and there's a wildfire coming, and because your last name is Johnson, I'm going to spray you, and Mrs. Smith isn't going to get sprayed. And look, I think in catastrophic situations, the capstone guys are going to do the right thing. They're interested in saving as much as they possibly can.
With a lot of the guys in our company, they've done 20 plus years in the fire service, so their brain is geared towards, helping the public. But, once you cross that line into that private industry, you got to stay with your objectives. What we've been sent out here to do, what we're getting paid to do, and that's protect these homes. It's tough staying within those boundaries. We don't necessarily have to worry about stopping that fire. We just have to make sure the fire doesn't get to the house. So it makes our job just a little bit more easier than the fire crews that are out here battling these lines and trying to keep fire away from everything. We're just here to keep fire away from just that one house.
Security may sound like an IT thing, but it's really an enabler. The better your security, the more open the company is to move the data that was inside of the company onto the edge. So the better security that you have, the more mobile you can go.
The islands of Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard off Cape Cod, Massachusetts are only a few miles apart, and both are famed for their sandy beaches, historic New England charm, and affluent summer residents. But residents can rattle off a long list of perceived differences between the two islands, both of which can only be accessed by boat or plane. The larger Martha's Vineyard is closer to the mainland and more accessible, whereas Nantucket is seen as more buttoned up with a high-octane social scene that lures CEO types. One thing the islands have in common is that their real estate doesn't come cheap. When Daniel Phelan and his wife Lisa decided to permanently relocate to Martha's Vineyard, they originally planned to buy land and build a house. But they quickly abandoned that idea after discovering that construction on the island is a long and costly process. Instead, they bought a newly built spec home in Vineyard Haven in May for $748,900. The 3-bedroom house has a screened-in porch and an outdoor shower, a common and sought-after feature in vineyard homes. After visiting friends in Nantucket, Jim Houlihan and his wife decided to try renting a house there. After continuing to rent for a few summers, they bought a house in Madaket on the western end of the island. Then last fall, they upgraded to a larger house on 5 acres in Dionis. Now that they've renovated the existing house, they plan to put in a pool and build a second house on the property for family members to use. Mr. Houlihan said he's also started investing in spec homes being built on the island. As he says, it's a great place for investment purposes because there's a limit on the availability of land.
I'm sure they got a lot of questions like, why are you only going to that house? Well, they have a policy with an insurance company that we're contracted by.
As wildfires burn throughout Southern California, insurance companies are sending in private firefighters to protect expensive homes, a service increasingly offered by high-end insurers.
We are a high net worth personal insurance company, so we insure beautiful homes and all across the country, including here in California. Primarily larger homes that tend to be, highly exposed to things like, wildfires and hurricanes. As it turns out, large, beautiful homes are often on the coastline or in these amazing communities like Ventura County or Ojai or Santa Barbara or Bel Air, as we had earlier this week.
Many insurance carriers offer firefighting services in certain zip codes or states that are prone to wildfires. For their overall insurance, policyholders can pay anywhere from thousands of dollars to more than $100,000 in annual premiums. With Pure Insurance, the service is included if a home has at least $1 million rebuilding cost.
We start watching and strategically placing the trucks at locations where we think we're going to have problems. And so Just in the past 48 hours, we've moved resources from Skirball down to San Diego, from San Diego back up to LA.
So here on this fire with the Thomas Fire, we had a list of about 18 to 20 houses that we've serviced. We've had 2 homes that came within a considerable close distance, nothing that was too serious.
That was Tuesday's briefing, and this is today's briefing. So just to give you a good idea of what it's done in the last couple days as far as the growth and everything.
The private crews coordinate with state fire agencies before visiting properties.
We carry anywhere from, I think it's like 350 to 380 gallons of water. We carry about 25 to 30 gallons of foam, where we have foam capability as well.
Sometimes it's just as simple as knocking on the door and saying, hey, we're here, just take a quick look around, make sure everything's okay. They'll go to the next one. If they feel like it's a potential threat, they may spray the house.
The quick stuff that we do is just remove all this flammable stuff away from these homes, take away that flammability factor. That way it gives the house a better chance in any type of fire danger.
Keep on going down the street, and there's a way to cross over onto the other side, and this is the last house.
Perfect. All right, we'll follow you. The homeowners don't necessarily get to see what we do. They look at fire as city, as their local agencies. They see the big red trucks, they see the ambulances, they think that that's fire.
State fire officials won't allow private crews into areas under evacuation orders and want to make sure the units don't